Okay guys, in this session Amazon Cloud, EC2 quick introduction and basic lab. I assume you all got basic understanding on Linux or let's say Windows operating system. I'm not specific after Linux, but again if you know Linux then this session may be a bit easy for you. So here first we will discuss about Amazon EC2 service. That will be theoretical part. At the end we will have a quick lab, and everything I'm going to do that is using command line. I'm not going to use a graphical interface. So friends, what is EC2 service? EC2 stands for Amazon Elastic Computer Cloud, and basically this is a web service from Amazon which enable a Amazon user to rent the virtual computing resources from EC2 cloud. What it means, you are not going to buy dedicated hardware to run your services, because earlier if I talk about couple of years back, what was happening in legacy data centers. Let's say your company says we are going to provision this new particular database or this application, and what was the process? There was a project manager and there was finance team. So you guys order hardware, whether that's IBM hardware, Oracle hardware, Sun hardware or Dell hardware, whatever manufacturer. Then that hardware arrives into your data center. You put that hardware into rack. After that, guys, can you please mute your... Hey guys, please put your phone on mute if you're not speaking, because you are disturbing other guys and disturbing this session also. So what I was saying, what was happening before couple of years back, you purchase hardware. Once that hardware arrives into your data center, you perform racking, you perform cabling, and then you install your operating system, perform your hardening as per your environment recommendation. So that was a lengthy procedure. It takes around 2 to 3 months for a complete process. Then application team or database team starts deploying their application or database components. So that was a time consuming thing, right? With the EC2 cloud, that's a beauty of cloud. With couple of clicks, within couple of minutes, you can spin your new server. And again, that's on very nominal cost. Okay, so when you provision a virtual server, what are the key components? First thing, you need compute. When I say compute mean your processor and memory, because you need motherboard, processor, RAM. But when we talk about virtual thing, there is no motherboard. Even processor is virtual, but again that's a main component. Memory is virtual, that's a main component. Then you need storage for your operating system or to store your application or database files, right? Then the other main component, that is network. Why network? Because if you have a server and the whole purpose of that server is to cater application or database requirements, for that you need to connect to that server. If you don't have network, then you can't connect, right? So we need network. So in Amazon, the compute thing, they call it AWS instance. Storage, the Amazon term is AWS EBS. EBS stands for Elastic Block Storage. And network, Amazon said ENI. ENI stands for Elastic Network Interface. And another component which I have mentioned here, that's firewall, friends. So that's not part of our virtual infrastructure, but again what happens in Amazon, whenever you launch any EC2 instance, that becomes part of AWS security group. What is security group? Security group, if I have to explain quickly, that's a basically virtual firewall. Because I know you guys are working in enterprise setups, you know what is firewall. That is to allow connectivity or allow access to authorized users or authorized services only, right? So that's Amazon's virtual firewall. That is free of cost. Amazon is not charging for the default firewall. And if you see on right hand side, I have just added the link for each service. I will discuss about these services in couple of minutes. Then friends, how Amazon do pricing for this service? Pricing mean how Amazon charge for this service. One way is on demand. On demand mean let's say you want your server to run for 2 hours. You can start your server, you use that server for 2 hours, Amazon will charge for 2 hours only. Let's say you have started your server now and after 5 minutes you shut down your server. Then again Amazon is going to charge you for 1 hour. So Amazon charge minimum, that's a minimum 1 hour charge policy at Amazon end. Another thing, just keep in mind this thing. Let's say in 1 hour you restart your server 10 times. I'm repeating, in 1 hour you restart your instance. Instance means server, right? So in 1 hour you restart your server 10 times, so Amazon will charge you for 10 hours. Okay, so that's the way Amazon charge. Second type of EC2 pricing is reserved instances. Reserve mean you tell Amazon, okay, my application that is going to run 24/7 for 6 months. So you can check with Amazon, they will give you discount. Like you are reserving the capacity, right? So Amazon is sure you are going to use their resources for this particular period and they can give you big discount. So reserved instances, they are a bit cheaper if I compare with on demand. Third is spot instance. So spot is basically bit-based service. Let's say Amazon is having free resources, no one using their EC2 services at that particular time. So they got some free resources. So they will tell you, okay, we got these free resources, you can bid. Let's say in a normal scenario, you are paying $1 per hour for your server. In bidding, you can get same server in 20 cents. Something like that. I'm not saying that's a fixed price, but that may vary. As I said, that's a bid price. The fourth way is dedicated host. What dedicated host mean? Because the EC2 server, that is a virtual server, that's Zen machine. I will show you in that in a couple of minutes. And that runs on shared hardware. Underlying hardware is physical hardware, but that's shared hardware. Let's say we got two different companies, one company A, one company B. Maybe company A is running their virtual server or EC2 instances on same physical server, and company B is also running same servers. And if you don't want any other instance to run on that physical, you can get dedicated host. In that way, Amazon will charge you for that whole physical server. The costing will be high, but I think you maybe have heard about VMware setup, because now VMware provides support like on Amazon hardware also. So those are dedicated servers. So on your dedicated servers, you can use VMware Cloud, these type of things. So that was a little bit about theoretical thing about Amazon EC2 services. And at the end of this session, I will take your questions. But right now, I just want to use our time because due to problems, I have already I have wasted couple of minutes. Okay, in our lab setup, friends, what we are going to do. Using Amazon CLI, we are going to use or launch one EC2 Linux instance. What are the prerequisites? Prerequisite like your AWS CLI package and Boto package need to be installed. What is AWS CLI? That's command line interface for Amazon. What is BOTO? BOT is Python interface. That both packages are written in Python, and Boto connect with Amazon API. Because when you do things command line, it hits the Amazon API, which is a website, and depending upon our request, it perform actions. What is the second prerequisite? AWS access configured, because to communicate with Amazon command line, you need your security key and security credentials. Basically, security credentials need to be configured. So that's again prerequisite. Third thing, security group configured. As I mentioned, security group is a firewall thing. So you can, if you are not a experienced Amazon user, so what's my recommendation? First time you can create your own security group using graphical interface. I can show you how to create it command line, but that will complicate the things, because you will think, okay, Amazon is a bit tough, because maybe you are doing Amazon first time, but that's very easy thing. Okay, so here on my screen I have not listed about availability zone and region, but I want to tell you quickly what is availability zone and region. If you see here region, What is region? Region is basically a geographic area. Let's say you guys are in India, right? Most of guys are in India, I know. So your region is India, and region is divided into availability zone. Availability zones are data centers. I believe Amazon got one data center in Mumbai. I'm not sure about second or whether they got only one availability zone, because I'm in Sydney, and in Australia, Australia is a region and it got 3 data centers. So we got 3 different availability zones. So I'm repeating, region is a geographic area, and availability zones are data centers. Isolated data center, you can say, that's the right word, isolated data centers in that particular region. And how Amazon named their region, if you see here, US East 1, this is the region, and availability zone inside this region, they will be US East 1A, 1B, 1C, like this is the format. I'm in Australia, this is my Australian region, AP-Southeast-1, and availability zone are named as 1A, 1B, 1C. Okay. So friends, for this session, what we are going to do, first we are going to configure our own SSH keys. If we don't configure our own SSH keys, Amazon is going to give us their keys, like they will generate keys for us. But it's my personal thinking and my personal recommendation that why to use Amazon keys? Why we cannot generate our own SSH keys and put those into Amazon servers? In that way, the control will be within our hands, right? We are not relying on Amazon. So that's my recommendation. Again, that's up to you how you want to go. But in enterprise, this is the way, because you generate your own key and you upload those keys to Amazon. I will give you demo how you can generate your own keys. Before that, I think you may be aware, okay, what are the public keys, how to configure passwordless SSH, right? So that's a main thing. If you don't know what is a public key, then it may be a little bit difficult for you, but I will try to explain. On my screen, I have listed next thing, how to launch your first EC2 instance. Before launching your instance, it's always recommended you check what is the current state of region and its availability zone. What it means, let's say you are going to use Mumbai zone, okay, Mumbai availability zone. Guys, whoever is traveling, can you put your phone on mute? Okay, friends. So before launching your instance, you have to check whether your region is healthy, everything working fine. Then only launch instance. If you know there is some issue in your region, which is generally not, because Amazon's services are very good. I have never seen a whole region down, because they are paying much attention on their services. So, but that's a recommendation you can check. I will show you how you can quickly check the region and availability zone status. And to launch your instance, friends, I want to tell you a couple of things you have to pay attention, because that's an important part of this particular session. AWS EC2, that's Amazon command, sorry. That's Amazon CLI command. Run instances mean you are going to create new instance. That's Amazon terminology. They call it run dash instances. It means you are going to create instance. After that, image ID. What is image ID? You all know to install an operating system, whether that's a Windows, Linux, you need media, right? Or if you are on VMware setup, you use your own snapshot or SOE image kind of thing. So that's basically image. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. So we will tell, okay, this is the image. And on Amazon store, there are multiple type of images. If you are going to go with Red Hat Linux, CentOS, Fedora, Ubuntu, Windows, like any operating system, all the AMIs are available on Amazon. Then count. Count mean how many servers you want to build. If you say here count 10, then your 10 servers will be built immediately. Then instance type. Instance type, basically that's a combination of compute. I will just come to this thing. Then key name, the key, like here I have uploaded my key to these particular regions. So here I'm using that particular key. User data mean if you want something to be executed when your instance boots first time. I'm repeating, let's say your server is coming up first time and you want some user creation, or you want to automatically install couple of package, you want to create some directories, then in that case you can use user data. Subnet ID mean, subnet is basically availability zones in region. So every region got different subnet IDs, and that is basically IP range. Then security group ID, as I mentioned, security group is firewall group. So every security group got name and ID, you can specify that. So that's a way to launch instance. And if you want to check console logs of your instance, you can check in this way with this command. I will explain this command practically. Then you have to connect to your instance using SSH. EC2 user is the default user and instance public IP. So that is something we are going to discuss practically now. Okay, so let's start our technical session now. Here, this is the server where I have already configured my Amazon CLI. Let me show you. You can watch my previous videos where I have discussed what step you need to follow to configure your Amazon CLI. But let me quickly display how you can check whether CLI is installed or not. You can use pip list and def for AWS CLI. Sorry, I forgot to put grep here. Okay, if you see AWS CLI is installed, and second package which is required package, that's Boto, BOTO, that's a Python interface for Amazon. Okay, if you see both packages are installed. Okay, next thing, let's verify what is the status of regions. AWS EC2 describe. Okay, so friends, you can see these are the different Amazon regions. This is AP South 1, West 2, EU mean Europe, AP mean Asia Pacific, and US mean US, EU mean Europe. CA, I believe that's Canada, I'm not sure, and SA South Africa, AP again Asia Pacific. So these are the different Amazon regions. If you want to check status of availability zone, you can say describe availability zone. And when you typing these commands, if there is any typo or command not supported, Amazon will tell you, okay, this is the valid option, like this. So here I typed my spellings were incorrect. There was typo. So in this way you can describe availability zones. Okay, so friends, right now I'm using US West 2 as my region, and it got 3 availability zones. If you see, this is the region name and this is the availability zone 2A, 2B, 2C. So these are the 3 availability zone. All the zones are available. If you see, there is no issue. If any zone is down, then it will display, okay, it is deprecated, or it is impaired, or that's under maintenance something. You will get that message. So that is the first thing. So next thing, friends, I have already got my key here, my public key. Let me show you. Okay, friends, this is my public key. So what I'm going to do, you know how to generate this key, right? With SSH keygen, you can generate your own key. So I'm going to upload this key to Amazon, and I'm going to upload this key to couple of specific regions only, not all regions. So here I'm using for loop. I'm saying for region in these particular regions, do run this command AWS EC2 import key pair, and the key name, it will give this particular name to my key, and this is my public key material, which is my SSH key. So I'm pressing enter. So this command will upload my public key to the regions which I have specified in this command, like these regions, these 4 or 5 regions. So now it is uploading the key. In first region it's done, and this is the key name. Okay, friends, our key is uploaded. So next step, we have to launch our instance. To launch our instance, I have to run command AWS EC2 run instances image ID. So I'm going to use this particular image ID. I will explain how you can see which image ID you have to use. And then I'm saying instance count need to be 1, and I'm choosing t2.micro instance, which is very basic instance. I'm saying in region, create this instance in US West 1 region. So you can select region as per your requirement. If you are in India, you can go with the Indian region. If you are in Singapore, you can go with Singapore region. So whatever your nearest region, select that particular region. And in key name, I'm saying use this particular public key, and here the key which I just uploaded here, if you can see this particular key name. And in security group, I'm saying this is my security group, which is firewall group. I have already created this group using the graphical interface. You can also use command line. And in user data, I'm saying use this user data. What is user data? As I just mentioned, once when you create new instance and your instance is booting first time, you want to do couple of things in automated way, then you can use user data. Before running this command, let me quickly show you user data. So if you see the file, and this is the user data file, let me show you content of this file. Okay, in that file, that's in a shell scripting format, I'm saying just create one user Yogesh K and set this password, then create this particular directory and make Yogesh K as owner of that particular directory. So you can put any code. If you want to install packages, you can say yum install. If you want to do some modifications, you can write everything in a shell scripting format. Then that will be performed when your instance getting ready. So here I'm pressing enter. So now this command should build a new server for me, but it is saying some error occurred. It is saying security group. I believe here I need to say group. So friends, here is error. So that's good. We got error, and we can debug what is missing. So let me quickly have a look. So the key which we uploaded. Okay, friends, what is the issue? If you see here, the key which I uploaded, that is in East 1, West 1, Southeast 1 and West 1. These are the regions, but here US West 1 is the region is having key. So public key, my public key lab. Let me go with this region, US East 1. It is giving error, value parameter group ID is invalid. So security group ID, it is not accepting security group. So here There is another option, you can debug the error. You can use dash dash debug at the end if you want more detail like this, but we will fix this one during this session. When you debug, it tells what particular commands are getting executed and where. If you see here, exception code in main one, and it was calling botocore where there was retry handler happened, and this is the error, invalid value cannot be empty. So there is some parameter which is getting applied as empty parameter. So no issues. Let me see, I just built another server a couple of minutes back. Okay, I'm using my old public key for now. Maybe my public key is not getting replicated. Okay, if you see this command finished, and this is the detail which we got immediately from Amazon. For every instance, there is unique instance ID. So this is the instance ID, which is unique identifier for EC2 instance. And let me show you how you can quickly check what are the details of this instance. Because this is unique for every EC2 instance ID will be different. So you can run AWS EC2 describe instances and dash dash instance ID, and you can put your instance ID, and if you want output in table format, you can put output table. So this will give you all the output in table format, which is easy to read. You can get that output in JSON format, you can get that format in text format. If you are using scripting, you can go with text format, but this is the format which is very user friendly. So this is the detail about the server which we recently built. Here if you see, that's a 64-bit hardware, and this is the AMI ID which we used, and hypervisor which Amazon is using, that's Zen hypervisor. This is instance ID, this is instance type, that's C2 micro, and it is using this particular key. This is the private IP, the IP which is configured inside the server. This is the public DNS name. Public DNS name mean using this particular DNS name you can connect to your server using internet, and this is the public IP. This is the root device. This is the subnet ID used, and it got only one drive /dev SDA1. This is the volume ID for that drive. This is the MAC ID of particular interface inside server, and again this is the public IP which I just told. And these are the detailed security group information, in which region it got created, US West 2, and availability zone is US West 2B. This is a group ID, and now this is the state. If you see code number 16, name running. So right now our instance is running. Friends, there are a couple of states. One is pending state. Pending mean your instance, you have just clicked start the instance, but it is not completely booted. So it is in boot process. That state is called pending state. Running mean your instance is running, means it's booted, operating system is also running. One state is shutting down. Shutting down mean you just clicked shutdown in console, or you just started the instant stop procedure using CLI. And one state is terminated. Terminated mean when you are decommissioning the instance, that is called termination. So if terminated state, it means your instance is gone. You cannot recover that instance. Okay, I got my public IP, so let's connect to our server. Here I already got my public key here, and default user on Linux AMI is that EC2-user. Here @, the public IP. Okay, it is saying key identification thing, yes. Okay friends, that's a good thing. So we are connected to our EC2 instance. If you see here, that's on Amazon, and by default EC2 user got full root level sudo, so you can just switch to root user. Now I am root on my Amazon instance, and let me show you quickly. Here this is a disk configuration, and If you want to check IP related thing, this is ifconfig. And what Amazon is using on Linux instances, let me tell you what if package is installed. Okay, packages is installed. So this tells, okay, Amazon is using Zen hypervisor. HVM mean that's hardware virtualization, because there are two type of virtualization. One is para virtualization, means that is not complete virtualization, and for better performance always select HVM, which is default on Amazon AMIs now. So that was the way, like, you can launch your server. And let's check quickly password file. So our user, okay, we have not specified because I got rid of user data. That's the reason user not created. But you can specify your user data also. So that's a way, friends, to launch instance. And how to shut down your EC2 instance. Or let's say you want to take console of your server or your EC2 instance. So you can do in this way. Here you have to specify your instance ID, AWS EC2 get console. Basically that server is virtual. You cannot take console. Like, you can take console of your physical servers or VMware servers, but in Amazon you can only see what is the output or information displayed on console. So for that, AWS EC2 get console output, then instance ID. I'm just using set because I'm just removing unwanted characters, because formatting is not good by default. Okay, so these are the messages on console. So server is ready, like it is booted. So that's a way you can check if your server is not booting, where it is stucking. But you cannot attach, let's say your server is not booting. You cannot attach a virtual CD-ROM to boot from CD-ROM or perform the thing. You cannot boot Amazon instance in rescue mode, because what's DevOps way, if your instance is not booting, don't spend or waste your time on repairing or perform other maintenance operation. Just delete that server and recreate new one. That's a cloud way or DevOps way, because time is more important, and it's very quick to launch a server. As you know, like, we have built our server in 1 or 2 minutes only. So that's something about Amazon. And let me take you through the Amazon instance types and other related information quickly. So what are the instance types available? Because I used T2 micro, right? So T2 micro, if you see this particular type, it got 1 vCPU and 1 GB RAM, and it is the cheapest one, friends. If you want to go with T2 X large, that got 4 vCPU and 16 GB RAM. So this is general purpose, like if you want some basic testing thing. If you got a good high workload which need more compute, you can go with M4 class. It got 64, if you see this particular type, 64 CPUs and 256 GB RAM. There is M3, there is C4. Every instance type got different amount of CPUs and memory. So depending upon your workload, you can go with your desired instance type. Let me show you the biggest one. If you see this particular instance, X1, it got 128 vCPUs and around 2 terabyte, 195 to 2 terabyte of RAM. So that's the biggest instance available on Amazon. But again, if you are going with the higher compute capacity instance, Amazon will charge you higher amount. So every instance type got a different pricing. As I mentioned, that depends upon your pricing. So these are the different instance type. And on this page, if you can see, for every instance type they have written used case, like on which particular application this instance may be helpful. If you see 3D application where you do streaming, video encoding and other graphic workload, then go with this G2 type. And let's check for F1, where genomics research, financial analytic or real video processing, then go with this. So these are Amazon recommendations. like these are the used cases for Amazon, like these instances perform well in that type of workload. And that's a complete detail about all instances. That's a instance type metrics, how much memory it got, what will be network performance. If you want high network performance, then go with this particular type where performance is high, and couple of instances got 10 gigabit speed, 20 gigabit speed, so you can choose your instance type accordingly. And in my demo I have used T2 micro, this one. That's very basic instance, because that for demo I don't want to go with higher capacity instance, and Amazon will charge me big dollars. So that is about instance types. Let's check storage. Storage mean where your operating system is installed, or where you are going to store your database or application data. So Amazon got a different variety of storage. I will not spend much time, but the main 4 type storage is SSD, GP2, ST1 and SC1, and these are the attributes about every storage, like what is the minimum size, what is the max size, what is the throughput you will get if you choose this particular storage, what is the pricing, this is the pricing, and what are the dominant performance attributes. Then about network, this is the way, like this is the properties. It's a IPv4 address, and it got MAC address. You can flag it, and you can also configure IPv6 addresses if you want. And this is the more information about network. And this is the limit, like on one particular instance type, how many network cards you can add. If you see C1 medium, it can have maximum 2 network interfaces and 6 IP addresses configured per interface. So that's detail about all the instances. That's a limitation. Why I am discussing these things? Because I know this is not part of like EC2 launch, but whenever you are selecting one particular instance type, it's your duty to understand like what particular instance type is suitable for your application or your workload. Because if your application don't require high CPU, it's only requiring memory, then you can go with instance which got low CPUs, means less CPUs and higher amount of memory, because pricing is adjusted accordingly. And let's say you go to instance where you have to configure 10 network interfaces or 10 different network interfaces. If that instance type is not supporting those interfaces, then no need to go with that one. You can see, okay, this is the supporting metrics for EC2 network interfaces for every instance type. And this page gives lot of information how networking works. If you see, this is the region, this particular thing is region, and here these are the different availability zone. As I mentioned, this is subnet, which is availability zone 1A. This is availability zone, this is B. Basically in same availability zone, they have created 2 different subnets, and how communication happens, how you connect. There are different ways of connectivity. One is you are going to connect using public IP, which I just did. Second way, for in the enterprise setups where you running most of your services in cloud, you are going with the DC. DC mean direct connect. What it means, from your customer premise, which like this particular thing, to Amazon, you get your own optical fiber, which means that is private, completely private communication with Amazon. When you communicate publicly, I'm going through my internet provider, right? But if you choose your own direct connect, Amazon term is direct connect, you will lay your optical fiber cable from your data center to one of the Amazon endpoint. Then your communication is directly with Amazon, you are not talking publicly. If you want to use your own public network, let's say you got your data center which already got a couple of servers in-house, so you can move or configure same network in Amazon and also. So that's possible using direct connect. And this is about security group. As I mentioned, that's a virtual firewall. This page gives you couple of information like what are the basics, how you can configure, how you allow ports, what is the inbound traffic, outbound traffic. So you can go through this particular page. And this is my YouTube channel. I have already posted couple of videos. If you want to see how to configure Amazon CLI, so let me show you quickly. You can watch this video, this particular one, AWS CLI installation and configuration. In this video I have already good detail, like how you can configure your CLI, and this is for troubleshooting, and this is again a basic intro if you want, but after this session I don't think you need to watch this video because I have discussed same thing, but this is a video like you can refer for CLI installation and configuration. And in this videos I have discussed how you can launch instance using CLI, how to create your instance using CLI. So you can go through these and you can do some self-study. It will give you more comfort, but I got plenty of videos if you want to learn Amazon stuff, DevOps things. So these all videos are on DevOps thing using Ansible or a different automation tool, Git, Jenkins, and these videos are on Red Hat. So that's it, like this is my channel. If you want to stay in touch, you can subscribe to this channel, and if you have any query you can leave a comment on my YouTube channel, so I will try to respond. So that was the whole session, friends. You can tell me what are your questions today, then I will try to answer those. So you can unmute yourself one by one, you can ask your questions if you have any.